Hello all. What we are doing now is actually analyzing the location specific to this property that's actually available for sale. So I'll just call it target because that's what I called it. Uh, what's happening is target. Okay. Our target property is 9 Helen Court in Barrack, and we are trying to scrutinize and do our due diligence in terms of location of where it is. So we've got these three websites that I actually use to find out more details about where this property sits in terms of its location, and I've got them open here. So the first thing is Google Maps. Once I've made all of this, I make sure that I've got it open when I'm looking for stuff, because I can refer to it, see what's happening around it, what's selling around it, and for what price. So that just gives me an idea of what's happening. And this is where 9 Hill and Court is. It turns out that this seems to be the biggest activity center in Berwick, and yesterday I was looking at it, and I I tried to find the distance from here to the train station somewhere here too, and it showed me that this area is traffic prone, because Google tells you exactly where the traffic is. So that's another thing that you can actually look at, and click on get directions and put in the from and the to address, and it'll chalk out a way. But it actually, depending upon the time of day you actually do that. So say for example, if you did that in peak hour, Google will show that all this is red and orange and green when it's clear. So you can have a look at it. um, I want to find out what's around this, what's happening here. The first thing I would actually do is go to whereis.com, and the reason is because that's where the property is, because very quickly I can click on, okay, where's the closest accommodation to this? So here, so see again that princess, that section actually pops up, which tells me that um, there's a lot of activity happening around that area. So you've got retirement village here. This is just for me to get an idea of where am I in terms of my target property, and where is every other things, or where are other things around it. So I know there's no airport around it, so I'm going to leave that. So train stations, I'm going to click find out. Okay, that's where the train station is. Okay, and that's where I am. Okay, so we are not that close. For example, I would want to find out where the nearest restaurants are. Again, that activity center pops up. There are some I'm so sorry about this because I've got this bad throat. I would want to find out where the medical facilities are close to that. Okay, childcare centers, for example, they pop up. So if I was developing something which was for younger families with younger children, you would want to make sure that this area has lots of childcares, for example, which is makes it easy for you to sell the end product. Where the parks are, so there are lots of parks available, lots of greenery, which is good. I don't need to know where the red light cameras are, but florist, not really. What I do need to know is where the petrol stations are. So again, there's a petrol station here, there's one here, there's one up the corner. So this guy's actually having fun. Maybe we should open another one here. That's a good business for this area. It depends upon the population. So that's what I do with this, and I want to find out where the supermarkets are. Because if I live here, I've got to go there every day. So this is the main activity center. Train station is always close to the activity center. Ideally, I would want to find a property close to this, so that I can either walk there or I'm very close. Now this is only 5 minutes by drive, so this is pretty close by. But again, you got to see where you can actually develop, if it stacks up, if it doesn't, how bad it is the market moving or not moving, and all those different factors. You can use this website. It's called WalkScore, and with WalkScore you just put in the address, click on the go button, and it gives you whether or not that location is actually walkable to different amenities in that area. So now this is car dependent. It's only got a walk score of 35, which is not as much, and that's what the location actually looks like. You can have a look at it. That's what the site is, because it's just block of land and it's got plans and permit. So it'll tell you travel time, explore how far you want to travel. Let's say I want to walk for, I don't know, if I walk for, let's say, 30 minutes, that's good, because if I go walking to the activity center, I exercise, but I don't know how many people do that. But you can't always use these things to sell your end developed product. So, but if I wanted to live here myself, I would want to be a little bit away from it, but not too far away. You can set up planning alerts for the particular property and set it up, create alert. It'll tell you, and you can select if within 200 meters, 20 meters, 80 meters, and you can select if any other property in that area actually goes for it actually goes for goes on the market for planning permit. You'll know exactly, and you'll be informed about it. This part here, case view, now I'm not sure if this is available for any other state, but it is available for Victoria, and I'm not sure if a similar service is available for other states, but it is available for Victoria, and I have found it. It is really good. The reason is that it tells me what the disputes or the cases that development approval planning permit applications that actually ended up in VCAT. VCAT is the Victorian Tribunal Court, where if the council knocks back your application, you can appeal it in VCAT. So it's a good idea to find out properties that were close to where my location is. So say for example 13 Penrith Court, Berwick actually ended up in VCAT, and that's number 6, which is here, which is right next to the activity center. I would want to know why. So you can read about this course over here, this case right here, and it just gives me a general good idea. So I'm somewhere here. The target property that we are looking at is somewhere here, and this property and all these others. If you look at these ones, most of them are actually commercial, kind of like Snap Fitness. Had a fight with the council and went to, you can see Casey, Snap Fitness versus Casey. It ended up in VCAT, and it gives you a date when it actually went there. If you click on these, they'll actually show you something like this, which is what the actual dispute was about and what was the outcome. And that's a good thing to know if you're actually developing in that area. You would want to know what the actual outcome was. So you come around here, you go subject, that's the address, and description of proposal. Basically this guy wanted to put another single story dwelling in his backyard, and that's what the permit, that's what it seek to, and council said nah, the applications was knocked back because it didn't relate to the neighborhood character. So if you go down, overall conclusion, you'll find that the guy actually lost the case, went to VCAT, spent all that money on applications, on the total application and the consultants and the architect and everything, and got knocked back. Went to VCAT, got knocked back. So its decision to refuse the application is affirmed. So it lost the case. So you got to be careful that the kind of development that you would want to push in that area, and what's already happened in that area, and why were they knocked back, and what was the outcome of it. So if this was, say, okay, it went to VCAT and then it won the actual case and it was allowed to put another one, you can push the boundary with the council. But if it doesn't sit with the neighborhood character, so say for example that was the property here, I've actually marked it, 13 Penrith Street. If you zoom on it, and you can see what kind of property is that. That was the property. Maybe it was the setback was too back, or maybe there was enough room here, and maybe he had to chop down the trees. Maybe it was a zoning issue, and we'll get into zoning in the next video. So it gives us a very good idea of what happened close by and whether or not you should be pushing the boundary close by to this area. What's the neighborhood character? And that's actually very important. So if you see on this side, there's hardly any block which has got two dwellings on it. You come around here on this side, you're allowed 2 dwellings. Maybe this one's got 3, and this one's got 2, this one's got 2, but you're the only one here who wants to raise a flag, and council say no, 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 we can't allow you that. But look at this, at the corner they've allowed 2 blocks here. So these are certain things that when you're actually zeroing in on a property that you're thinking of buying, that you've got to consider around it, whether or not it's actually good to even, or worth the money to even actually go through all of that. So even before you buy it, and if the property hasn't got any plans and permit, I would want to go to the council and talk to them. What do you think of us putting 3 townhouses on this block of land? And the council will give you an answer. And if you say that it's not possible and council will never allow it, it's a red flag. So walk away from such deals.